Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Jace Beleren Must Die. How's everybody doing? Are we good?
Pretty good.
Carlos and I were talking at the very beginning of the call about how strange time seems these days. When I sat down to do the show this morning, I was like, yeah, it feels like it's been a really long time since we did an episode of Jace Beleren Must Die. We must have missed last week. We did not. It is just that time is moving very slowly now.
Yeah.
And things are strange. So
yeah, time decided to stop. I don't know why, but now we're all just stuck. This is like purgatory. This is Lost. We're all in an episode of Lost right now.
Yes, my dream finally come true. I had a trivia question about Jorge Garcia, the guy who plays Hurley.
I was
like, I know that guy. I'm ready for it. Thankfully, we came in fourth because of me.
Oh, yeah.
I saw somebody on Twitter not that long ago posted a photo of themselves back when we were still allowed to fly in planes. They posted a photo of themselves on a plane with Jorge Garcia, and they were like, I think I should get off this plane. That was nice. That was good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's like always scared going to any
okay,
airport. Just cause.
Whatever you were about to say, Katie May, please.
Katie, what were you gonna say?
What is creatine? I don't know what it is.
It's what you've been drinking and bang energy drinks.
It's what you need to get your muscles going.
Yeah, isn't it the muscle building powder stuff?
Yeah. So
I'm
it absorbs
just trying
like
to figure it out.
It like absorbs water into your muscles or something. So like when you're working out, it like keeps that shape. So like it helps you build muscle faster.
Yeah. We have people saying that I am drinking this because you talked about it.
Well, I mean,
you're the one saying
what creatine is.
We're drinking it because
Katie
you were
May.
drinking it.
Katie
I'm
May,
having a fucking crisis.
You have been on the internet this whole time getting tagged and stuff and looking at Twitter, and you didn't Google creatine?
You drank it though.
Yeah.
I thought you knew.
Come on.
I've been handed Four Locos at parties. It's
come on.
It's like you just drink stuff sometimes.
Oh, come on, Katie.
When you're
guys,
under 25 and don't have concept of
okay?
mortality yet. You kind of just drink things.
I like how this is the thing that like makes you rethink if you should accept drinks anymore. It's just like creatine.
Wait,
Four
you
Loko?
drink?
Yes.
You drink Bang Energy for the same results as Four Loco?
No, I'm just saying that like when you're young and you don't realize that
Katie May.
you know this is the only body you're going to have, you're maybe like, yeah, sure, whatever, guess I'll die. But now you have people being like, hey, I drank this because you did a bit.
Yeah, so this is a thing that you must once you have an audience, you have to realize that you can impact people in meaningful ways, like accidentally making them drink a Miami Cola. And it's just how it goes. You have to believe that everybody has their own ability to make decisions for themselves. And they're not.
Creatine 101. What is creatine and 101?
Yeah, if you have creatine, you have to have a lot of water, Katie May, or else you're gonna get dehydrated.
This page
Also,
won't load,
if
so
you
I'm
drink energy drinks, you have to have a lot of water.
Also
true.
Also, just drink water.
Also, Katie May, just drink water.
Drink water, Katie May.
Stop finding ways around it.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
To keep your immune system up, your delicate immune system.
Mm-hmm.
I like that the new pre-show protocol is that we just all parent Katie May for 25 minutes.
I fucking need it.
I feel like, I'm gonna be honest, I feel
nice.
super bad about because I always like feel really bad about like the bits where we infantilize an adult. But she seems cool with it, so sorry, Katie May.
Katie May's like, baby, let's keep going.
So I always get like super sensitive to it.
Sorry, I just imagined that being my catchphrase and fucking send it to the next page.
Can we please, like somebody, whether it's Wizards of the Coast or Roll20 or something, can we please make Jace Beleren Must Die t-shirts that have a picture of a baby Jace Beleren on them saying baby like?
Baby like.
menshealth.com. Maybe you'll tell me.
I don't want Jace Beleren associated with anything childish just because we've played Hot or Not with Jace Beleren. So that's a negative for me.
Well, I mean, Jace is an adult we've played Hot or Not with. I think you mean hot people were babies at some point, no matter
were
what.
they? No, they weren't.
Babies could be hot. Some babies are hot. Some babies are not hot babies. They're like, that is an ugly baby.
No. There's a difference between a pretty baby and a hot baby, and we're not discussing it.
Yeah, I mean, no
ever.
one is saying the babies can't be ugly. In fact, I think most babies are. I think some babies have the absence of ugliness, which you might mistake for attractiveness, but no, they're just not ugly. It's different.
We don't say attractiveness with baby either.
Yeah, right. Well, I meant it in a general sense, but yes, it's probably good to avoid the word altogether. It hardly matters though, because eventually Winnegar will just kill them before they have a chance to grow up anyway. So.
There. Safe joke. Okay.
Welcome back to the pre-show, everybody.
Welcome back to the pre-show.
Yeah. It's been a time. I don't know. I feel like I'm going a little bit loopy. Like I feel like every day has sort of started to bleed into the next, and my idea of like what chronology looks like is starting to slip, where I have to remember the next event, but I've forgotten very regularly like what time it is or what day it is or how long time has passed since the last time I did anything. You know that feeling when you like you go to bed and you wake up and the lighting conditions are more or less the same and you're like, did I sleep? Is this the same day? What's happened to me? I feel like that most of the time now, where I'm just like, what's going on? This waking nightmare needs to end.
What's the weather like over there? Is it like overcast or is it?
Yeah, it's just a week of rain straight.
Yeah,
constant grayness. Though it looks like it's a little sunny right now. But of course, I have the windows closed and I'm hiding inside.
For me, I've been like wondering why. On day one, I made a joke with my partner. I was like, why don't we should carve a mark into the wall to see how long we've been in quarantine, huh? Wouldn't that be funny? And now I wish I had it. Now I truly just to like, wait, did we start on Friday or Monday? What day is it today? How long has it been? Like, is it a month? A year? A year. It's been a year.
Well, I think this whole situation is hitting everybody at different times, right? Like you were saying this earlier, Carlos. For some people, it's maybe a week of quarantine, but for others, it's like 3 weeks. And so everybody is having these. You can watch people who have been in quarantine for a long time going through stuff, and you're like, oh, so that's what that's going to be like. Here it comes.
It's awesome. I'm very excited.
Yeah, are you enjoying? You're enjoying your time in the quarantine zone?
Because like I've been self-isolating for like 2 years just because I don't drive and I work from home a lot. And so I rarely leave. I leave once a week to go to therapy and then I come straight back. And so I had my shutdown in the summer of 2017.
There you go. Yeah.
So it's very like, I don't know. I like watching people suffer. I'm gonna have an interesting. I want to share this with everybody. I'm gonna have an interesting experience later today. So I have a therapist that I go and see in her office, right? But all the offices are closed, so we're gonna do a video call, and it's gonna be the hardest thing in the world for me not to be like, hey everybody, welcome to my therapy. How you doing?
Of course.
Because
stream it, coward.
Do it.
I can right there.
Stream it.
I love it.
Do it.
Oh my god.
Surreptitiously stream
That's where I draw the
it.
line.
Do it.
It's loose.
the thing is,
Instagram live.
the equipment is the same, the lighting is the same, like I'm going to have it in my chair right here in this exact same place with the same setup and my mic and everything. So it's just going to be a very strange situation for me to.
Dr. Osterkorn, I noticed you haven't subscribed or hit the bell on my channel.
At the end of therapy, when she's like, well, that's our time for today. I'll be like, awesome. Well, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. We'll be back for therapy next week at the same time.
Let me ask you this, Doctor. Do you have an Amazon Prime membership? Because that could really help me out right now.
I was really wondering why you highlighted that message about niche issues with dealing with trauma in past.
Yeah, Dr. Zhang, if you could please stop putting kappas in chat after everything I say, I'd really appreciate that. Stop backseat therapying me.
Y'all start the EMDR session. It's just lewd emojis down the entire chat.
These emotes are kind of like your copay. So
Yeah, it's a whole thing, and it's like, and I don't know if anybody else is feeling this, but because so much of what I do, and I'm sure a lot of other people, is this is the remote thing. When people are suggesting like, oh, get in a Zoom call with your friends and hang out, and I'm like,
yeah,
no, that's work. Why would I do that?
That's being gone.
Yeah, it's tough that way. So it's like trying to find other things to occupy your time, but not feel like everybody has vanished from the earth.
You know what? I keep thinking about doing this and I haven't done it yet, but there's a Chrome extension and a website.
Netflix Party.
Yeah, Netflix Party. I've been thinking about doing that, but then I'm like, I just want to make jokes. Like, I don't want to hear everyone else's jokes. You know, like how many people do you invite and like all that.
Right.
But I don't know. I've been thinking about it. You've been thinking about it too, TK?
Yeah.
Like Netflix?
Yeah, I was actually so what my friends and I typically do is we like some of us will get together once a week and we'll watch a movie on Netflix and just like time it on Discord and then talk shit about it on Discord. So I have been thinking about it, but I've also been thinking about offering it for an extra life perk thing.
That's
just
cool.
being like, hey, do you want to watch a scary movie with team from Tales from the Mist or something?
I just want the power to pause and rewind and everyone see it. So because that's the fun part.
Everybody has
my
that
Discord.
power. You know that, right?
Yeah.
There's a feature. I think Twitch is rolling it out relatively soon, but there's a feature coming out called Watch Parties where you can as a streamer you can broadcast anything that's on Amazon Prime. And you can talk over it, and you can have your little like you can basically Mystery Science Theater 3000 anything you want that is in that library.
I want it. I want people to think I'm funny.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Right? And that's
really?
it. That's how it works, right? Is that you you basically like you get to just
and it
play
doesn't
it. Yeah.
It doesn't mess with the copyrights. It doesn't mess with.
So the reason is because the people watching I think have to also have Amazon Prime, so they could be theoretically watch it on their own.
Okay.
It's just you're just showing it to them, and it benefits Amazon because then it puts more content in front of people's faces, right?
Wow.
They're like, well, I watched this one episode with my favorite streamer, so now I'm gonna go watch the rest.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I'm gonna
but
do that
Glee's
as soon
only
as
on
that comes
Netflix,
out.
so.
Okay, you need to chill out.
For now. Jeff Bezos will own
that's
everything.
what we've been
and it'll work
over
out.
at Dungeons, Dice, and everything nice. That's what we've been watching is Glee,
Mhm.
which
Glee?
is the worst
Glee
thing
is
that's
the-
ever happened to me.
That's the high school kids that sing
Show
and
choir,
dance
yes.
one.
Yeah.
So
So what do you guys do when
of
that?
Riverdale?
Okay.
What do you guys do when
Probably.
when the pedophile guy is on screen? What
I'm
do you
sorry?
do then? Do you guys? Because there's a guy that was convicted,
Boo.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Oh,
mhm.
That's so messed
Oh.
up.
Oh yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
How
all
long was he on the
around.
show? Was he
Oh, the
like a big?
whole-
Really?
Oh yeah, like the whole all time.
I thought he was
yeah.
just like
Whoa.
like 2 or 3 episodes. He was on like
Oh, no.
how many seasons is that show?
Like the set 8.
8?
Guys, this is why people need to watch Community. That's what I've been rewatching.
Yeah.
It's
There's
Dan
not
Harmon's a
single...
little questionable. No, Dan Harmon's questionable, and like you know, and like you now look
I
at
had
it
a
through
panic
that
attack
lens.
listening to Dan Harmon yell at his wife on an episode of Harmontown.
Oh.
It's
Ooh.
brutal. It
I'm
changes
sure
the
Childish Gambino's never done anything problematic, so that's fine.
mood. Ugh.
Guys,
We got
have a
Masood.
limited
Masood
time.
slowly died inside. He's like,
If I can't love Glee, you can't love Community. I'll take
That's
everything
okay.
you fucking
Masood
love.
looked down.
I've
I
watched
got to throw
neither
out my Troy and Abed
show.
in the morning mug that I got as a gift years
I
ago
was-
when things were beautiful.
I literally have a Troy and Abed in the morning mug as well.
I was gonna say
I'm
at
sorry,
least
friends.
you still have Jace Beleren Must Die, where the worst thing that can happen to you is that Carlos forces you to drink a Bang energy.
Bang bang, honey. Oh god.
There's a
Yeah.
Will I Am song called. Is it Will I Am? It's literally called Bang, and it's stuck in my head. Let me.
no.
What?
I'm gonna put it in chat.
Sorry, I just remember the Black Eyed Peas. I was not around when.
Yeah,
they
I'm trying to
separated that
think.
much.
Yeah,
Except for
I'm
Fergie.
trying to think of whether.
Fergalicious.
I guess that's a good way. That's a good way to know there's a generational gap there. Is like, do you remember when the Black Eyed Peas weren't bad?
Yeah.
And
When was that?
Do you
Adam?
remember when we
Do
thought
you
they
count
weren't bad?
2008, 2000 and late as being good or bad?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think,
Which do
they
you
had
count that as?
there's like 1 or 2 songs on their first album that I like, if I listened to them now, I wouldn't just immediately turn them off. But
Unfortunately, Where Is the Love was so overplayed in my area during like 2001 post 9/11 football games.
Oh no.
That there is no Black Eyed Peas prior to that moment.
Right.
Me.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they write really good pop songs. It was just there's like what's that one?
They
Let's
write
Get It
very
Started.
efficient pop songs.
That Let's Get It Started. I didn't realize the real version.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was a real version of that song, and that's messed up because a bunch of people had to sign off on that shit.
Oh yeah, that was released on a major record label. Yeah,
that's insane.
Yep. Yeah.
Oof.
Yep.
Katie May, are you looking that up right now?
I was just sending you guys the link to Will.i.am's Bang Bang, so you feel what the inside of my head feels like.
Wow, this is in black and white because it's art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh
right,
wow, just like the lighthouse.
Lyrics like she might have let you hold her hand at school, but I'm
my
gonna show you how to graduate.
Are they using the same app that I use for Tales from the Mist recap videos to make it?
Videos unavailable.
Almost certainly.
Yeah, it says unavailable for me.
Mine's working great. And
You
by
gotta-
great, I mean
click out. You have to.
It's one of those. It's one of those videos that's only available in Kentucky. So it's.
Kentucky is where the Black Eyed Peas went to die.
This is 46 million views.
Hell yeah.
2
What's the
minutes
bee
and
one?
30
I like the bee song. I'm a bee, because I just think of a little bee dancing the entire time.
Was that one in the that was a soundtrack one, right? They wrote it for a movie. Was it for, or did they just write a song about being a bee?
Shut up, y'all.
No, it's not about a bee, but like I think they're just like
listening to a hit. We're all listening to a hit. Silence while we listen to a hit.
I hate that I
don't think anyone else on the stream
I
can
hate
hear
that I
this,
like
though,
the
guys.
brass.
No, they can't.
No, it's
just.
This is a cover of that.
Silence.
Isn't this a Nancy Sinatra song? Bang Bang, My Lover Shot Me Down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But
I love that song. That's not Nancy Sinatra though. Who is that?
no. I think she. Yeah, I think I know the
like
song.
she did like a very famous
Yeah.
cover of it. Bang Bang, My Lover Shot Me Down.
her.
And it was on Kill Bill.
Yeah, her
and
version
was-
is in Kill Bill. Yeah.
Is it Nancy Sinatra? Yeah, Nancy Sinatra did the famous cover. Who sang it first?
Hey.
Cher.
I know you did not say Cher.
Wow.
I'm literally looking at it right now. It's a single
Cher's
by
pretty
American
old.
singer-actress Cher from her second album,
What?
The Sunny Side of Cher.
No
Yeah.
way.
I'm looking at it right now on Wikipedia.
Cher's been around for a long
Okay,
time.
well,
1966.
Wikipedia. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
1966. The Sunny Side of Cher.
I
Chat,
have,
I don't have the authority to post things in the Twitch chat, so I couldn't
It's-
do that there.
Bang.
Sorry.
Oh no, I'm
I
not
carry
gonna do that.
no
Adam,
strength or wisdom.
I have a VPN and it puts me in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And like Google Chrome always thinks I'm in Canada, so like I get the Canadian websites and I'm always like, this is what Adam sees. like when I'm on Amazon and it takes me to like, Canadian Amazon, I'm just like,
Nice.
oh, Adam sees
How
this
many
just
ads
like
for
me.
maple syrup do you get? I really want to know.
See, that lets me know you've never been to Canada, because everyone gets maple syrup for free and there's no reason to advertise it. It just comes out of the trees, Masu.
That's true. It comes out of their faucet.
Also,
Adam, how's your Animal
That's
Crossing village?
disgusting.
oh, it's semi-abandoned. I found, so I know a lot of people are going really hard on Animal Crossing and playing like massive chunks at a time, and I tried, but I get bored fast. So I've receded somewhat from that, and now I just play it like 20 or 30 minutes at a time, if that,
Do you
and it's
guys-
much better.
Do you guys do
Yeah.
the time travel thing? The thing where you like reset the switch to time travel?
I've seen
Yes.
far too many sci-fi movies to think that time travel is a good idea. So
Okay,
no.
well,
So
Adam,
you've just cut it out of everything.
Yeah.
you
That's
like.
right.
Animal Crossing.
Even video games.
Yeah,
That's right.
he's certainly like playing Skyrim. No, not gonna wait, not gonna fast travel, nothing like that. Walk on foot
Mhm.
everywhere.
I'm
My horse?
that.
I don't
I'm that-
need my horse.
I'm that asshole that played GTA 5 with the mini map off and was just like, all right, here we go. Let's go try to find where this place is.
Every 5
Can't-
seconds, pressing the back button,
Just
just
looking
like
at-
opening up the
Yeah, like real life.
Can't let the genie out of that bottle.
Oh, now I'm thinking about Christina Aguilera.
I was thinking about who censored Roger Rabbit.
I
only thought of this because I went to go send you a haunted doll.
Yes.
And then realized that I had to have visited your town first and
Yeah.
got really sad.
My house is nice. I will say
No.
that. I posted a picture of it on Twitter the other day. I look
Weird
like I live in a
flex, but
Muji.
okay.
I live in a Muji showroom. Everything is just like
Ooh, good.
nice. But yeah, if you want to send me a haunted doll, I'm all about it. People sending me
I'll
weird,
send many.
Why
weird goth
would you?
gifts.
Yeah.
I want 'em.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about getting like, because I've been inside a lot and going through my back catalog of video games, and I've been like, played through a lot of them now, and I'm like, what else can I do? And I was like, just wait, because the quarantine's gonna go on, and Final Fantasy VII, the remake, is coming out.
Yes, that is.
And
true.
I've never played Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, cool.
I've never played the original.
Neither
so
have
like
I.
this is gonna be a nice excursion for me. I'm gonna have a good time. I checked 67 hours into Final Fantasy 15 when that will and I because I went back to finish some things and I was like, yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I'm just like trying to get primed for that because I think that'll be at the right time.
Yeah,
I
when
remember
is, when is the remake releasing?
The 10th of April.
It's like coming out April. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. At least for Chicago, we're supposed to be quarantined till the 20th. That's like when the schools and everything are supposed to be like closed for. So I was like, okay, last 10 days we'll consolidate into just this.
Yeah. Especially if you haven't played it before. Yeah.
Right.
I remember when it came out, my buddy had it and he was obsessed with it. And I used to just go over to his house and he refused to let me play the game. Sorry, I'm having like flashbacks right now. He refused to let me play the game. And I always
Carlos just
wanted to.
starts sweating.
Like there was only like certain moments where he'd be like, oh, I gotta go eat dinner right now. You can play this thing. And it's like something that didn't matter to his game or something. And like I was like, okay, whatever. But I always wanted to play that game for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worth it. I mean, I also
Did
think
you also always want a friend who wasn't a dick?
Yeah. Oh my
Who
God.
doesn't?
Yeah.
I wonder what that would be. What would that be like to have a friend like that?
All my
Shut
friends
up,
were
Adams.
dicks.
What?
All my friends were dicks.
every single one. I don't
They,
know, Carlos, if you have a PS4, I'd recommend getting the demo.
do.
The demo's
Yeah.
out right now.
Oh, okay.
And like that's what kind of sold me on it because I was like, I don't know, like the narrative I know is supposedly great. Yeah. But the mechanics.
The thing that'll be, I think, for me, hit and miss on that one is that, so the game came out in the 90s and they translated the script from Japanese into English and they wrote Barrett, the one like main black character, they wrote him like a combination of Mr. T and Bill Cosby. Like the way he speaks in text is just not good. And now you have to listen to it because they didn't update it at all. Now they just had an actor say it all out loud.
Wow.
And so it's a lot
good.
of I pity the fool type dialogue. And so if there's a way to listen to the Japanese language track instead of the English one, that'll make the game a lot more. I'll be able to play it probably, but otherwise, it's a lot.
I don't know why they in the voice actor room who was like, do it more like Mr. T. like go more into that realm, like almost copyright infringing.
The light
don't know.
slowly fading from the voice actor's eyes.
I don't know why I expected you to say something else because it's like every time I've gotten any sort of feedback as to how somebody should act, it's always like can you do it blacker? And so that's what I expected you to say.
Urban. Yeah.
But I was like, I'm just a little more
sass,
thuggish.
Have a little more melanin in your delivery this time. Yeah.
Could you pity the fool a little louder?
Yeah.
And for less
hearing I'm hearing a lot of indoors, but I'm looking for more streets, if you get what I'm saying.
We really
hearing
want
a lot of indoors.
It's like, could you mix a little inner city into it? Could you? I just feel like you're not really putting any respect on that thing.
Well, so that's the thing is like there's this opportunity, right? Where it's like they wrote the game, they did the translation, and it came out, and it's been a long time. It's been decades nearly since it was released, and there's this opportunity to be like, let's do it better. Let's make Barrett sound not like a stereotype, but then
like a human being.
they were like, nah, we'll just do it.
That sounds expensive.
Does it get any better? Is this dialogue from the original like any redemptive throughout the arc, or is it like
he's really important to the first third of the game, and then he's sort of optional after that? Because it's like a lot of Final Fantasy games where it's very constrained at the beginning, and then when the game kind of opens up, you can choose what characters you have around. And he's in cutscenes throughout the game, but there's not a lot more of that. Though again, I haven't played the remake, so
like real diversity.
Yeah.
I get to be sassy today. That's the
so
law.
So what, like the first third of the game is diverse, and then as soon as you get a choice, you just pick all the white characters, and that's
Listen, we don't have to be interesting. That's it. We just don't have to be interesting anymore. We just get to be whatever we want, and if it's interesting, then good. But if not,
Oh shit!
We already got your money.
White people get to be human. Fuck, that's awesome. We don't have to be interesting. We can be whatever we want.
Nice.
We want now.
I have a Raspberry Pi that I put like an emulator on. I have like all the Super Nintendo games and Nintendo games and
I
Sega
thought this was
Genesis
real
games.
pie.
I did too for a second, but
I was like,
sorry, guys.
it's in the oven? I'm bringing it out later.
But
Expected.
I thought it was going to be awesome where I'm like, oh, I'm going to play this game, never played this one, never did anything. And you just have everything so you don't play anything.
yes,
Like
I've noticed this too. That's absolutely a thing where if you have an emulator, you'll play up to the point where you have even the slightest amount of frustration. And then instead of going back to the beginning and continuing to play, you just play a different game until you get to that point. I hate it. I do that exact same thing. It's the worst. Like,
It's
not
just like,
having-
It's like the first half of a villain monologue where it's like, and that's why.
that's
That's why I
destroy
must
video
choose
games.
for you.
Yeah, because the entire time you're like, I'm playing this. Why am I wasting my time with this when there is that Goonies video game I never saw before, or Addams Family 2, or
right.
whatever type of bullshit.
Don't you understand? Free will is a curse that you must be rid of.
I'll be honest. The first
I'm not
time
gonna
I picked
lie.
up
When you said
Fallout
that, I
3
was like, wow, yeah.
yeah, no, it really is.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
All of my D&D villains are good.
It's like-
so
Wait, now, Katie May, can you say,
wow,
can
yeah.
you say, you and I aren't so different, are we?
You know,
Please.
Call me an interloper.
good.
Tell me this was merely a setback.
Katie May, how old are you?
12.
Oh, no, don't say it. Don't say it.
I'll
Oh,
be 13
boy.
in May, and then I can sign up
I'll
for
be
Twitter.
That is
Baby
curtains for you.
I'm very, very disappointed in your parents for so many things right now, Katie May.
but no, really, you're kind of living like an anime character. You're 13, you have your own apartment, you know.
It's a plot of Blank Check over there.
This is
It's
not
really-
the first time you've brought up Blank Check.
Oh, I love Blank Check.
I know you do.
I
It's
bring it
so
up
good.
so often. I even brought it up in that panel we did at Gen
Yeah,
Con.
you did.
Like, there's a picture of the kid from
God.
Blank Check at the panel we did.
Did we bring up before that they're about the scene with the older like adult woman that does?
Oh,
like,
we
Yes,
talked
we
about
talked
it.
at length.
Okay, I'm just
We
making
did.
sure we brought
It's a
that up
comfort. Can we
because
talk
that's the
about how he
first
got a
thing I
go-
think of
yeah.
every time.
I think about his go-kart like backyard, and that's pretty dope still. The fact that you could transform acreage into just a go-kart course.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd do it today.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Everybody say hi to our new mod, Jack's Not Funny, but also he
Hey.
typed black check instead of blank check. And I do want to see that
Yeah, I'd
movie.
see that.
That remake. I'd really like that.
Can we just write that movie right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Sorry,
don't write it
chat.
down.
We'll get to D&D later. Right
But
now,
the
we got a movie
problem-
to.
Yeah,
So
I
we'll
said
say
it out loud,
This
and
is
Tyler
the
Perry
writer's
has
room
heard
that
it.
should really write black
Yeah.
check.
The problem,
This is it. I think this is the choice.
the problem is though, is that Carlos, based on what you were saying before, is all you would do in that meeting is say, all right, there's this movie Blank Check, but could you Could you do it blacker?
How can we do blank check? But black.
Just a little. Could you
Need it, but more urban. And like Tyler Perry just like kicks down the door. Aquafina comes in through a window and like.
I heard you guys are handing out black checks.
Azalea's like, I have the soundtrack. I'm ready.
I got it.
Scarlett Johansson's like, I can play the lead. That's me.
Scarlett Johansson is definitely the lead in black check.
Emma Stone plays a Hawaiian character because she did, and she'll do it again.
Yeah, the entire Kardashian family is like, yes, we'll finance this, please.
Fantastic. It's great. I mean, eventually that's what this show is going to become. I'm going to eventually just stop getting to this point and saying, "Hey, let's play some Dungeons and Dragons," and it'll just be this. We'll just be
There are no
adjacent.
There are no rules in this Thunderdome life anymore.
Honestly, I used to get really antsy at around like 11:23, and I just don't feel it anymore. Like the first 30 episodes, it would be like 11:23, and I'd be like, okay, well, responsible performers should probably just start navigating towards. And now I'm just like, all right.
No, we're
The fire is
Mad Max
gone.
now.
Yeah, the
We're
problem is
waiting
we have no. There's no producer. There's nobody in our ears being like, "Start the fucking show. Start
You're
the
the
show.
producer,
Stop it."
Adam.
Yeah, but I'm in it. It's too late. You got me. I can't.
Yeah, it's Tomorrowland already.
That's right. I need someone else. I need an adult telling me to do the thing. But let's do
An
the thing.
adult
Let's
hero.
do it.
Yeah, let's do the thing.
Let's do the
We
thing.
should. We should be
So,
responsible.
Yes.
I think the most important bit, aside from, because the beginning of the last episode was Torgor's hot date and the escape from the Carnarium after trying to bamboozle Ralzeric with a briefcase with nothing in it and getting away from that situation. So kind of where we ended up, Winnegar, you found either she's either here delivered as a warning or a threat, or she had nowhere else to go. You find the rose on your doorstep, right?
Oh,
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
really important as a reminder, Adam.
Yes.
No matter what I do today, you can't kill me. That's the law.
Well,
It's the law.
What?
Because it's my birthday.
oh,
It's
is it
your birthday?
You can't kill.
Way to
Yeah, that's why I
bury the
talked about all
lead.
that black
We did a
stuff.
whole pre-show.
Oh, I thought you guys knew.
What? How dare you?
I
I'm
knew.
so angry right
yeah,
now.
I'm so
knew,
mad.
I knew, but I didn't know if you're the kind of person that liked being called out that it was your birthday. So I just wasn't saying.
I
anything.
usually don't, but
Yeah.
since we're playing Dungeons and Dragons today, I have to remind you that I can't die today because it's my birthday. That's
Oh,
the
we
law.
are all gonna kill you so hard today
Ooh,
just for
TK,
that.
I'm driving down to Kentucky. I'm taking you through a drive-through. I'm telling them that's your birthday. They're gonna
Masood.
sing at you, and then I'm gonna drive you home.
Masood, please. I am by law, I am the brownest a person can be ambiguously in Kentucky. So
That's
you are
right.
not coming to Kentucky.
No,
and
no,
you
no,
know
no, no.
it.
I've been learning on Duolingo. I've been practicing my Spanish, and anytime I go to South Carolina, people assume I'm Mexican.
Oh, yeah,
So
that
it is
makes
going to be
sense.
as
Yeah.
I can
Okay,
pass
yeah,
a little
that makes
easier
sense.
now.
Yeah.
Me gusto mucho el state
Oh,
of
yeah.
Kentucky.
Well,
Oh,
honestly, they will not know the
listen.
difference, but
Passing good.
We were so
Code
close,
switching.
and then
May
it slipped through my
llamo-
fingers.
Yeah, looks like I got the
Mario.
sequel. Look at, I'm reading the sequel script to Black Check. It's Brown Check. Masood will be starring in Brown Check. What a
brown
great.
chick
It's
sounds
not
like
the
it's gonna
way
have
you
a
think
lot
it'd
of
go.
poop.
It's called Bounced.
If somebody finds a blank check in a strip club.
Yeah. Oh God.
I like Chad. That's a great Mike Bloomberg impression, Masood. Donde
like that.
está la biblioteca?
Okay. We could play the game now.
Okay, so the rose, yes, yeah. So you found her. You didn't have time to like check, but basically you see her curled up in a ball in the fetal position, covered in rain, right on your doorstep, or I guess on the doorstep to the host in the shell. Hard to say whether she has been delivered here or found her way here, but I think we'll just like jump right into that. So while Winnegar is doing this, Rode, Torgor, and Tack, where do we leave the three of you before we jump into Winnegar's scene? Where were you the last
Tack and
time
I
we
were
saw
just
you?
Walking back together.
Yeah, so you were
enjoying a
headed
nice,
you're headed
pleasant
back.
walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Okay.
headed back
We're
to our
bonding.
mansion filled with candy.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Torgor, you were in Rixmati, but I don't know if you wanted to like stay there or if you were gonna head back to meet with your
I think
friends. You got some time either way.
I think I'm heading back as well. Like you might see the door shut behind him with like the like outfit slung over Torgor's shoulder as he's wearing his regular
overnight
clothes.
stay.
No. Well, it's now 6 a.m. You know, it's an early get out. I've got work to do.
Yeah, well,
And
and also,
so-
yeah,
God.
you know, Judith doesn't do sleepovers. Come on,
No, not at all.
no.
So like I think it's
Nobody
like-
stays the night in that waterbed.
You got to go.
Get the fuck out.
I'm out of there.
Now I'm starting to think of what's Rakdos waterbed a euphemism for? What is a Rakdos waterbed?
It's probably something that's related to waterboarding because they're like into that. Like, I would
They
say
put
like
you in the bag with the water.
yeah.
I don't think that she has a water bag because she's definitely into knife play. So
Right, she's very
I
pointy,
think
so
it's unlikely.
either that or she has backup water beds just in case.
Backup. It's just like a giant like blood bag with like B positive on the side.
Yeah, it's totally a
Wait.
blood-filled waterbed. Sometimes
Sorry.
with a
She
person.
can't
in
turn
it.
you into a vampire, Winnegar. Why do you get all the good stuff?
Okay, yeah. So you're leaving. It's like it's early morning.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense for the timeline for everybody else as well. So so we cut to or we fade in on Winnegar looking down, basically the same shot, the like B camera version of the shot from the end of the last episode. You looking down, rain coming down around you, and the Rose curled up, eyes shut, lying on the ground. What are you gonna do?
Winnegar's just like, oh crap, and I'm gonna like cover her face right away and
Mhm.
like try to cover up the body, and I'm gonna peek inside to see if anyone's there, if anyone's inside.
You can hear the unmistakably obnoxious sound of Gary singing to himself in the kitchen.
Why would you put that flavor text on just for?
Listen, it's for Winnegar. Like, I have to describe things through the fictional lens of the character receiving them, right? So yeah, you hear Gary singing off tune to himself in the other room, maybe getting ready for the morning crowd. Get some egg sandwiches ready or something.
Oh, okay. So I want to get rid of Gary, or I just don't want him to see me drag this body into the back room.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna walk in and like to the same room as him and be like, "Hey, Gary."
And he looks over at you and you when you walk in and he's like, "Oh, hey, Winnegar. Morning."
Hey, morning, buddy. Can you do me a huge favor? I left one of my journals in the back room. If you can just grab that for me, that'd be great. It's on the high shelf. There's no journal.
And he turns to look at you and he says, well, I am kind of in the middle of this, but anything for you, buddy. And he goes, he like takes off his apron and puts it on the counter and he goes into the back. And there's just a
Sorry,
whole
was
bunch of
that Gary's idea of being a bad boy? I'm a
Yeah.
little busy, but yes.
Of course, yes, exactly. That was his idea of being like, I have to put up boundaries with people. I've been told that this is healthy for me, so I have to say I'm in the middle of something, but I will still do this. So yeah, so there's just on the counter, there's a whole bunch of like, I don't know, arugula and eggs, English muffins for the morning sandwiches. And he just sets it down and he walks
Hollandaise.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab this body and bring it in. Like,
Okay.
Kind of like drag it in
All right.
and
Up
get
the
in the back
steps.
room.
Okay. Make an athletics check. I want to see if you can do this before Gary. See if Gary catches you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She's heavier.
That's a good first roll.
She's
That's a
heavier
good
than
first
she
roll.
looks.
That's a 2.
A
That's
2 is
for-
not going to be sufficient for that one. So yeah, you start dragging her in and she's heavier than she looks. You can't really get your like arm under her and lift her up and bring her in.
Yeah.
Um
It's like a wiggly sack of ugh.
yeah. So Gary
Potatoes.
Gary turns around, right? He's like, I don't know, Winnegar, I couldn't, and he sees you, but he doesn't see the body, right? You're dragging something. and he sees you. What do you do when he spots you in the hall? And he pokes.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm gonna try to block him from. I'm gonna run up to him real quick and try to get his attention. Try to get his back to the door. I guess I'm gonna lock the door too. So I'm like,
yeah. So I figure you've managed to drag her into the kitchen, or like into the like little dining area, right? So she's on the floor in a puddle of rainwater. You dragged her in. You're all damp from being outside. And then he leans out into the hallway, right? And he can see you down the hall. So he's at a bit of a distance, but he's like, "Yeah, I didn't see any journal in there, Winnegar." And then you want to walk over to him?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over to him.
Okay.
And be like, "Hey, Gary. So, listen, buddy. I've been kind of a jerk to you lately. I don't know if you've noticed, but I got you a present, but it's not ready yet. So I'm going to need you to close your eyes while I bring you to the back room."
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's a surprise for you, Gary.
Can you make a deception check? You can have advantage. You can have advantage on it because Gary's a huge sucker and literally wants to believe it. Nice.
20.
You didn't even need it. You got a 20 or an 18. You didn't even need that advantage. So yeah.
Because Gary loves you so much.
His eyes go quite wide and he says, a present? For me?
Yeah. For you, Gary. It's just, I've been working so hard on it. And it's not finished yet. And I mean, I just got to bring it to the back room, but I'll have it for you later on today.
Oh, you didn't have to do that. Just getting to hang out with you is a gift.
God. Yeah. It's a gift.
Now that you've gone to him, he's like, "Come here, you," and he like goes to give you a big hug. Problem
I
is,
actually cry about Gary right now.
Problem is though, Winnegar, if he hugs you, that means that his head is going to be over your shoulder, looking behind you. So he's coming in for the hug. He's like, "Come here, you."
I want to try to like move him around like that. Just kind of like, yeah, or I don't know. Well, he's a lockdown, right?
Kiss him to distract him.
I'm not kissing him to distract him. Winnegar hates this guy.
Winnegar must smooch.
I mean, the problem is though, like with the Loxodon, it's not the same as smooching a human. Their face is shaped different, right? So even if you wanted to, you have to go under the trunk to get at Gary's mouth. So it's not. It wouldn't work anyhow.
Winnegar can make it work.
So, but if you want to try to, just like
polymorph into another.
If you want to turn the hug into a spin hug so that you're facing the way he originally was, you can certainly try. Yeah.
I want to try to do one of those things to be like, okay, close your eyes and like hug him with his eyes closed, I guess.
You don't hug with your eyes open.
Like, okay, buddy, you're gonna ruin the surprise if you go. So I just want to turn him real quick.
Love it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Make an acrobatics check. Try to judo hug this situation. 12. Okay. All right. So what happens is that Gary interprets this as he goes in for the hug and you hug him and you spin around and he's like, I think he picks you up and he's like, "Oh, it's one of those, huh?" And he spins you around. He's like, "Oh, I'm so glad we're friends, Winnegar." And he kind of wave, and your feet get lifted off the ground and waved back and forth. And then he sets you back down and he holds you at arm's length and his little trunk dabs the tears out of the corners of his eyes. And he says, I had almost given up hope that you were going to come around. I thought you hated me for some reason. I keep trying to reach out to you, but you seem so stressed out. Anyway, do you want me to make you breakfast?
Breakfast sounds great, Gary. Just do that and nothing else, and don't look in this direction at all, because you'll ruin the surprise.
And he nods. He's like, "I love surprises," and then continues his off-tune humming and heads back into the kitchen to work.
Yeah, I run to the body and I'm just I'm dragging it and kind of swearing at it. "Stupid dead body making me hug Gary, all stupid tried to make a move on me. What an idiot." Although it was a little comforting when he help me. Whatever. I don't care.
So you're dragging this body, and so the Rose she's still dressed in the kinds of clothes you would have expected from her, right? She tends towards what on Earth we might traditionally consider like men's formal wear, right? So like double-breasted, like black, like suit jackets with brass or gold buttons, like patent leather shoes, but that's all she's wearing. It's all the same clothes, but it's soaked through, right? She's got like a shirt, like a white shirt underneath that's also like got some blood on it. Her hair is normally done up and is quite fancy, but is now like stringy and hanging down. She's kind of like she's like if you imagine the girl from The Ring, but black.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
she's just limp and is just to every extent like a corpse, and thus very difficult to drag. So you drag her back into the karaoke room, and then what?
Can I just say I actually used to pick up dead bodies for a living.
Really?
I used to live in a funeral home, and I grew up like in a funeral home basically. So I would do like pickups and I know how to pick up a body.
Just when I thought that Carlos couldn't get any cooler, I find out you grew up in a funeral home. What the hell? I'm so jealous. That sounds so cool.
My early 20s, I lived above a funeral home.
Yeah,
like
that's awesome.
years.
So you've moved. Okay, so then I don't have to tell you how hard it is to move a corpse.
It's very
very
difficult.
challenging.
Yeah, I remember one time I had to pick up a body very late at night, and usually you go with someone else.
Yeah.
And this guy left to go open up the garage door, and I was just like, it's like 3 a.m. and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get it out of the trunk. I'm just going to start moving the cot or whatever. And I pulled the lever on the cot so the legs come down, but I forgot to release the lever. So like when I pulled it out, it started to like tip and the body started to tip. And I'm like, no. And this body's just on the ground in an empty parking lot, fully lit in Chicago. Like all the street lights are on. And I'm like, no. And then the garage door starts slowly going up. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy's going to freak out. Because like, if anything happens to this body, like you can lose your license or
of course.
Jail. If there's like, if you break a bone or crack the skull or like anything like that. So I had this like I Love Lucy.
Right. It does sound sort of comedic in a 50s sitcom way. Like you put the head up and the legs fall down, you run over, put the legs up and the head, and you're just going back and forth. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was doing. I was like picking up the legs, putting it on the cot, and he came in and I'm just like holding like a limp body by the head. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Anyways, guys.
This is like every Dungeons and Dragons game eventually gets to a point where the GM describes something to the players and the players are like, I can do that in real life. That's not how it would work. And it usually involves someone claiming to be a Navy SEAL or like a martial arts master or something. Yeah. Never had anybody tell me like, you don't have to tell me how hard it is to move a body.
Yeah, it's pretty hard, guys.
Yeah. So you do eventually manage to get her into the room. There is some trail of water on the floor, but you were wet when you came in. And I think that by the time you get her up like onto the couch and like rest the body there, both you and Gary simultaneously hear the ringing of the little bell above the door as Tack and Road. Actually, you know what, Torgor, you would get back first because the Rixmati and the host are closer together than the Carnarium is to it. So yeah, so you hear the door, you hear the little bell on the door, and Torgor, you come back into the room. There's a puddle of water on the floor in the middle of the little dining area, and you can hear Gary singing like and if I had thought of this in advance, I would have one, but it's like a pop song, but all the lyrics have been changed to be about how Winnegar is their best friend and they're making breakfast for Winnegar. No, it's breakfast at Tiffany's, but they've replaced Tiffany with Winnegar.
What about
breakfast with Winnegar?
Oh, it's so bad.
Both kind of liked it. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Whoa.
So you hear breakfast with Winnegar coming from the kitchen. As you return to the host, Torgor, what do you want to do?
That's weird. I don't really know. I guess I do know. It worked after all. I knew my advice, like I know my two best friends, Gary and Winterger. It all, this means everything's going Torgor. It's truly, what a day for me. Do. Like, what? Goes in, tries to open the door, and what does Torgor see as he enters?
That scene from me in the parking lot where the legs are like half on the couch, and I'm just like holding the head, and it's kind of like this U. The body's kind of like making this U shape right now with legs on the couch, and then I'm holding the head on this end, and I'm just like, shut the door, shut the door.
Okay, and like immediately, quickly shuts the door, and then like rushes over and like easily. Do I need to make an athletics check, or do I
for what?
For lifting up the rose off the ground and on, okay.
No.
I think
yeah. Also, what a weird day for Torgor, right? Like, you have this excellent date with your new lady friend, and then you come back and it's your old special lady friend, and she's unconscious or maybe dead. So,
right. So I think immediately it's a moment of switching gears really hard and just like analyzing and assessing the situation. So I would like to maybe make a medicine check and just like to assess like where her health is at.
Okay. Yeah. Good call.
Let's see. Pull up. There it is. Medicine. Ooh, you got a 1. Let's see how it.
Oof. Yeah.
11.
Yeah. You got 11 total. Okay. So it's hard because she's a vampire. So she always looks dead because she is.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a religion check to see what you know about vampires. There's not a lot of, there's like, I would say almost no vampires in the Rakdos. I don't want to say none because the Rakdos is big. All the guilds are big and there's vampires in all of them probably, but they tend in the same way. Yeah. So a vampire in the Rakdos would be like Tack in the Golgari. It's unusual, but not unheard of, right? So I think there's a religion check to be made here because you're not, you're not familiar with them.
Let's see. 4 now.
Yeah, she looks like an unconscious, like deader version of the way she was before, but that might just be because she's not moving or talking or doing anything.
Okay, so she might. I tried to check for a pulse, and then I remembered how dumb that was, and now I just wait. When vampires die, don't their like bodies turn to ash? Isn't that a thing that happens? Like, and Torgo's just grasping. Yeah.
Is that true? Is that true? Can I roll for that?
You can make a religion. You can make a religion check. Yeah. You got a 6.
They do turn to ash.
Okay. So she's not dead. She's not dead.
Okay, she's definitely alive. There's no ash in here. Okay. Ooh.
Okay.
Maybe she's not sleeping. Although Witchy doesn't have a heartbeat, but vampires don't have heartbeats or blood. Do vampires poop? They got to eat something, right? Do they absorb everything? Is there nothing that a vampire doesn't absorb when they're drinking?
I think they just all of their waste is through their breath, which is why they have bad breath.
Oh, gingivitis.
Yeah.
Halitosis. Okay. Yeah, that's probably how vampires work.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Wait.
Well,
where did you find her, Winterger?
It was on the doorstep.
Someone left her here?
Yeah. No return to sender. No note. No nothing. No clues.
Wait. But who had her? I thought she said that the conspiracy was going to take care of her and she was just going to disappear and
didn't disappear well enough. Now we got this freaking body. What do we even do with this body? Also, I got to get Gary a gift. What is that idiot even like?
Oh, come on.
I guess honestly, it's not that important.
I want to have the emotional capacity to like do right by him But right now I can't focus on anything.
Yeah,
other than
neither
this.
can I. I can't focus at all.
Cut
Probably
to-
like a magazine subscription or something. I don't.
Cut to Gary in the kitchen making blueberry pancakes in the shape of Winnegar's face, putting like little blueberries where the eyes would be. Like,
And after all, you're my Winnegar wall.
So I'd say, well,
Okay, well,
we should wait for where Road and Tack. What happened with the meeting?
Oh, meeting went horrible. Really bad. For me, just like I suspected. Those two, probably okay. Me, that was pretty bad.
But you're here now. You're back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. It was like my birthday last week.
I love the idea of waiting until it's someone's birthday to try to end the campaign, and Jace is just like blasting you with magic, like, why won't you die? And you're like, that's what you forgot, Beleren. It's my birthday.
No!
Why? All the mastery of the multiverse, and I can't read a calendar. I mean, I think at this point it totally makes sense to have Tack and Road come back, right? Like to hear the door.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna say Torgor is just like, we gotta wait. I maybe take her to a doctor or the Demir, but we can't do anything without Road on this, and even Tack.
Because it's their birthday.
It's their birthday.
Never bringing it up again. I hate y'all.
We love you. Happy birthday. This would not happen otherwise.
And I feel like we're closer for it, and that's what we hear as I open the as Road and Tack open the door. And that's why I'm finally on the no-kill list. Shing, shing, shing.
You are not.
Hey, Gary, is that blueberry pancakes I smell?
So yeah, you poke your head in, and Gary looks over and he's like, "Oh wow, gang's all here. Yeah, I was just making some breakfast for me and Winnegar."
All right.
And
Okay.
he holds up the plate, and it's a very ornate breakfast arrangement. It's got the little blueberry pancake that looks like Winnegar's face, and then he's used syrup to draw the Is It League like symbol on the plate.
Wow.
And yeah, some fresh fruit. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I'm going that way anyways. I can
That's
just take this to
amazing.
him.
I've seen some like super huge stalker shit in the past, but this is fucked.
He shakes his head and he's like, no, Winnegar asked. We're gonna if you don't have to take him breakfast, just let him know it's ready.
Y'all are eating
we have
together.
And he nods, says, yeah, we had a moment earlier. It was very nice.
Hell
Sorry,
yeah.
did Winnegar not tell you that we had a meeting this morning?
Would like
Oh,
a meeting with
it
everybody.
Can wait.
I made some sandwiches, like breakfast sandwiches for.
No, it's fine. I'll just take him the breakfast if you made him breakfast. But yeah, we've got a meeting.
You should totally sit on it, Gary.
Oh, okay. Let me get the tray. And he goes into the other room.
Yeah.
And he starts getting food and getting breakfast for everybody ready. And Road, you hear the sound of a champagne bottle popping for
Oh
mimosas.
yeah.
Okay, well, Gary knows how to.
He knows.
Okay, well, maybe he can sit in on this meeting.
Yeah, Tack just like without even looking at Road, just like snatches Road's elbow and then like slowly turns their head up to Road. Is just like,
This is gonna be fucking awesome.
I nod. I'm in.
Oh my god, I love Road's slow slide into Tack territory. Like, you know what? Maybe I should just live like a shitty goblin who thinks about nobody but herself. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so
it's going great for me.
yeah, so you want to head in. You'll have a minute while Gary is still gathering breakfast supplies if you want to go in and recon with
No,
Torgor
we're
and
helping
Vinegar.
Gary gather the
Yeah,
breakfast
okay.
supplies. Yeah, we're all going at once.
Oh, yeah.
This is all of us at one time.
100%.
Yeah, so Gary's telling you some asinine story about how he went out to the store to buy oranges, but he accidentally bought tangerines, and that he didn't know there was a difference between a tangerine and an orange until he accidentally
There's
bought
not.
tangerines.
Tangerines are just small oranges.
Right, and he's like,
Wait,
that's what I said, but the guy at the store said that they were different, and so he's just telling the story as he's like setting up the breakfast plate. And he finally puts a little vase and then grabs a flower out of a little bouquet that he's got up on the corner, and he plunks it in there, and he picks it up. It's like,
What kind of flower?
breakfast. Probably like a daisy.
I'll accept it.
Yeah.
I was afraid you were going to say carnation. I was going to have to quit the show.
No. Yeah. And so he picks up the tray and he looks over at Road and he's like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
Yep. I've got the mimosas. I'm the mimosas tray. That's my job.
Just
And then
checking off my alignment, complicating my life experience.
and then TK has the sweets tray.
Okay.
It's
So
true. I
Gary's
don't know
got
where Tack
breakfast,
went,
I've
but
got
I'm
drinks.
in this game
Yeah.
now.
Sorry. TK personally is in
What?
charge.
I just came in. I was like, let's fucking do it.
Sorry. Our conspiring reached different levels.
So Torgor
Yes.
and Vinegar, as you are trying to decide what is true or not true about vampires, there is a knock on the door, and then I imagine that probably Tack just opens it and goes inside, and you see Tack and Road and Gary and Breakfast.
Scary.
As soon as I see
Breakfast.
Gary, I want to cast Minor Illusion on the road to look like a pile of pillows on the couch. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Yes, that's perfect. So Torgor, yeah, you hum a few notes, wiggle your fingers, and then point, and then suddenly the rose looks like a pile of pillows.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Do I catch that?
Oh yeah, everybody sees it.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I would say maybe. Yeah, I would say for a
Well,
moment everyone sees the quick switch,
I
or
think
maybe
yeah,
Road and
it
Tack.
would be
Yeah.
Vinegar. Vinegar would notice it, but Tack and Road, you probably would be as susceptible to the illusion as Gary is, unless you have some ability that lets you see through illusions. So yeah, you see a big.
I just like catch it before the spell went off.
Yeah, that could be a thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're leading the way in, maybe you notice and Torgor casts the spell so that only Gary doesn't know. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So yeah, Gary comes in and he brings in breakfast and he looks over at Vinegar and he says, "I think you'll find it's a pretty good likeness." And he sets the tray down and there's a pile of fluffy looking blue pancakes. One of them looks like your face.
Road is just grinning.
Yeah, and so he sets it down and he says to you, Vinegar, he's like, "Everybody said that we were gonna have a meeting, and now we have a breakfast and a meeting. It's a breakfast meeting." And he goes to push the door closed with his foot, like,
Oh my God.
yeah. And then of course Torgor, he goes right over and he's like, "Ooh, comfy pillows," and he goes over and
That's
he's
my
just,
No.
yeah, he's just about to like plant his big Loxodon butt right on this pile of comfy new pillows.
Oh, buddy, actually,
Tack's ready.
You don't want to sit on that. Tack made a
That's
mess
my
of
seat.
these-
No,
and I get
it's
really angry
It's
if anyone
super
else sits in it.
comfy. You should totally sit
Tack.
there.
Made
Tack.
a mess of these pillows.
I made a
when
me.
they've been
Uh,
the diaper that
and
they
he-
were using the other day was for a lot
Oh,
of purposes.
whoa! That's. I
and
don't know if that's something I would do.
So can I cast message to send them both a message that the rose is dead and the rose is actually this pile of pillows?
So you have time. Message can send to one person and they can respond. So
Okay,
you
I'm
can
sending
pick.
it to
You
Road.
can pick one person
Yeah,
to send this
prioritize.
message to.
because it's the only one that's gonna matter. Like,
Yeah.
You send it to Road. Is that
Yeah,
what you
you're
said?
like-
Okay.
Road, we need to get Gary out of here. That pile of pillows is the rose. And what are you doing with your fingers? Why do you do that? Why are you doing that with your fingers? Don't do that. Rose rose is dead, and the rose is the pillows right now.
Yeah, it's clear that if message
X-Men.
does have a somatic component, you either have to do the Professor X, the double Professor X, or the Mentok Mind Taker. Either any of those are all fine. How else would you know that you're using telepathy if you don't do this?
Just like,
Voiceover
like the vision,
Yeah.
the vision, and That's So Raven, where you just do the.
Yeah, everybody has their own preferred. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah. So you tell Road, which is that's a smart choice. You want to tell the Lisa Simpson of the group to solve the problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Road kind of like looks around and is like, okay, well, this was not the right time for this bit. I just remembered that this meeting, Winnegar, I actually don't need you for this meeting, which means that I can dismiss you and you can just go have breakfast with Gary. I know that you two were really looking forward to it, and so you two should be able to have breakfast.
I look at all the beautiful pancakes, and that sounds like a really good use of your time, Winnegar. And
They
Gary's
deserve
as well.
to be eaten, without business on the mind.
I couldn't eat this. These are friendship pancakes of a different friendship. I would feel wrong.
Don't
nibbling on
eat
Winnegar's
somebody
ear
else's
here.
friendship pancakes.
oh my god. Pack is so excited because the entire purpose of this was to make Winnegar uncomfortable. And if that means not sitting on the couch Christians is going to work just as well, then Tack's like, yeah, go eat the pancakes.
I feel like I should be at the meeting, guys.
Winnegar,
Then we
eat the
should all be
pancakes.
here.
Okay, Tack, find the
is like-
line.
this
and
is
then
like Gary's-
back away from the line.
This is Gary's best day, right? Because he's got two options presented to him. He either gets to have breakfast with the whole gang or a special private breakfast with Winnegar.
Oh.
They're both good options. So yeah,
Gary's always wanted a friend who wasn't a dick.
he's pretty happy
All
about
right.
this. So
Well,
he's just
then
looking
how
back and forth
about-
like everybody cares about where I go or what I do.
You know, I've got a few files to put away. I'm just getting here, but Tack, Winnegar, Gary, if you guys want to head out to, take all the breakfast stuff out to a big table, and Torgor will help me put the files away, and then we'll just come out and join everyone for a big breakfast at a table. We'll sit like a family. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tack, you want to grab these plates and guide them back in?
Winnegar, here's the mimosa tray.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just orange juice. Okay.
Yeah, let's go have breakfast, Winnegar.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, Gary, let's go.
Okay.
And
And then you're gonna
grab this tray.
lead Gary back out into the dining room.
Oh my god,
Okay.
this is my best day.
The moment the door shuts, I dispel the illusion.
Yeah.
How did this happen? What is
I
this?
don't know. Winnegar was here, and suddenly she was there. And is she dead? I don't think she's dead, because if she was dead, she would be ash, right? Like, that's how vampires work.
Okay, so can I roll this religion check? Obviously is going to happen,
Mhm.
but I did make those vampire friends during my
You did.
week-long bender at the Rakdos. Do I have a better information about vampires now?
So everybody's asking Road because Road knows a couple of vampires. So Road is suddenly some kind of vampire expert.
You got
she
vampire
also went
friends.
through a vampire phase in middle school, like all of my PCs do.
Please, Road, just don't become the Quentin Tarantino of vampires. Like, just let's not do that. Listen, this is my vampire friend says I can call them Nosferatu. It's fine. So go ahead and make a religion check.
With advantage, of course. I will.
Yeah. You know a thing or two about vampires. Plus, also you've been in a guild that has. So there are most vampires. Most vampires feed on blood, and I believe that you know that the Rose is that kind of vampire. There are Dimir thought vampires, but this is not one of those. And they need, like anything else, they need sustenance to continue living. But unlike a person who dies when they starve, vampires can go into a state of suspended animation until they get blood, and this happens when they're badly injured or if they haven't fed in a long time. So it looks to you like that's what's going on, because as Torgor said, the only real way to kill a vampire is with fire. In this setting, sunlight doesn't harm vampires, right? They can just walk around in whatever passes for the day in Ravnica. But yeah, you have to like behead them, and there's not usually just like a hot corpse like you have here.
Okay.
So she's probably in a vampire state of coma, right? So that's
Okay,
probably
cool.
what's going on. Yep.
I guess I pull one of my 3 small knives. Love my inventory. Why 3 small knives? Because my daggers are gone because they're in fucking Ralzeric's umbrella, I guess. But I pull out one of my small knives because, of course, they're on like a little thigh holster, I guess. And I immediately just like cut a slash through my arm and then try to give her some blood.
Explain. Just watching this, like, no understanding of what's going on. Like, no, you're just standing here. Like, what? What's going? Oh, right, because they drink blood and they don't poop, and so they need, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna feed her some of your blood in an attempt to wake her up. Okay. All right.
But what do we do when she's awake?
Yeah.
That's for her to decide.
What if the Demir helped decide?
Then another missive would have been check her pockets.
I check her pockets.
Okay. She doesn't have anything on her. Yeah, nothing in her pockets. She's not wearing any jewelry either, which is like unusual for an Orzhov. Even if she's left the Orzhov, like that's a habit that's hard to break. And vampires don't often change that much. So yeah, maybe she's been robbed.
But maybe she was robbed. Maybe they were taken from her, but
yeah, it was definitely a small time robbery for
But
sure.
just muggers.
As I'm like putting my wrist up to her mouth. I'm like, yeah. I really think it was just a small time, and then her body was just conveniently left at the doorstep.
Okay, all right. Let's tone down the smugness. I get it. You're bleeding.
While the two of you are being snippy at one another, Road, your blood drips from the wound onto her lips. And the first few drops just sort of like slide down her chin, but after a second, you see her lips part slightly, and a few drops fall into her mouth, and then all at once, and I feel like everybody who's ever watched like a bad vampire movie before knows what's about to happen. All at once, her eyes snap open, and she grabs your wrist and tries to sink her teeth into your wrist. In a feeding frenzy. So what do you want to do? So you see her eyes snap open. You're pretty quick with the reflexes, Road. If you want to try to like pull away, or if you just steel yourself for the feeding, you can. Torvor,
yeah, I like turn to Torvor, like, don't let her kill me. That's like that's my reaction.
Just transition it into a slow spoon from behind, just to feel she's comforted, you know.
Okay, all right. So she bites you. So you're willingly being bitten by her. So you're gonna take some damage. So the bite itself deals 10.
Okay.
And then you're gonna take another 3d6 necrotic damage. So 10 piercing. And then another 15 necrotic. And she just starts to like, just drain your blood. She bites you and then and like you can see Torgo, you see Road like go pale and sort of maybe like her knees like tremble a little. She doesn't look like she's gonna stop.
Okay, all right.
This is where not letting her kill me comes into play, Torgor.
Okay. And I hey, it's me. Hi, it's Torgor. It's Road. Clearly, you're in a different spot right now. But just take a moment, and we'll get you more blood. Look, we'll get. I cut my arm and like offer it as like an extension instead.
There's like there's a metaphor here somewhere about making the Road choose between the two of you. She likes my blood better, Road.
Well, how much HP
boy.
do you have to lose in a moment? That's the bigger question I'm trying to understand.
Oh no, I'm down to 33 hit points now. That was
Your
rough.
boy's got 79. I could last a few drainages.
Okay, that's
So-
not what this is about.
Yeah. So Torgor,
Yeah.
do you want to? Because she's already got a source of blood, so like trying to lure her away is probably gonna. I think you're gonna have to like grab her and try to pull her off if you want to stop it. She might
Right.
come to on her own. She might just need more blood to like recover.
Yeah.
She's still pretty
I
weak
will
looking.
I will play it out another round. I will
Yeah. I was
gonna
give it
say,
like one
You'll
more
give her one
chance.
more.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So you don't take any
Or
more. You don't
turn
take
me
any
into a vampire. Here's
You're
my
like
time to
secretly
shine.
like, no, just please go ahead.
Yeah. Torgor, protect me. Actually, don't do it, please.
Actually, just turn me into a vampire. I was
Oh,
really
no,
into vampires
stop.
in middle school.
Road,
Oh, no.
what was your actual vampire safe word? Because we didn't. Come on.
It's leprechaun.
Oh no, please don't drain all my blood. Don't do it. Oh, no. Okay. All right. So you'll take another 3d6. You don't take any more piercing. She's already poked a hole in you. So you take another 7 necrotic.
Okay, see, that's more tolerable.
Yeah.
I can't believe you
Okay.
rolled 3 5s on that 3d6.
Yeah.
That's-
That
Yeah,
first one
that-
was
I'm
just, the
realizing-
first one was just pretty bad.
The first one was
Yeah.
pretty brutal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Math in
Mm.
quarantine times is so hard.
What's however many hit points I have minus however much damage I took. Okay. So she's starting to like her eyes are losing that sort of like waxy, like corpse-like look. You can see that her hair, instead of being limp and wet, is like starting to like curl back up again. And her skin is
damn.
taking on like that inner luster, right? She's becoming more alive again. But I'm gonna need to make a save to see if she can stop. Like she knows what's going on, but the beast within demands that she feed. So I'm gonna make a wisdom save to see if she can stop biting you. So let's see. I think say DC like 15 on this round. Okay, all right. So
Alright.
she stops. You don't have to stop her. She like pulls her head away, and she's like breathing hard. Though even that's probably just a habit from when she was alive. And there's blood all over her face. Ro, did we establish, is your blood a different color than like human blood?
I think it's like a little like few shades more like of a violet than red,
Yeah.
just like a bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So she pulls her head away, and you see like your own blood on her lips, and she looks up at you. And every other time you've ever had an interaction with the Rose, she's been very haughty and sort of disconnected from you, right? She plays the vampire Orzhov really well. But there's a moment you see both vulnerability and gratitude in her eyes, right? Where she looks up at you like, you just saved my life. And that both makes her angry because she doesn't want to be seen as somebody who needs saving, but also you can see that she appreciates it. And so she turns her head away and like wipes her mouth and looks around and sees Torgor and sees Tak, and she's like, how did I get here? What happened?
Dropped at our steps. What happened before that?
She nods and she says, oh, yes. Where's Vinegar?
Having breakfast.
So you put powdered sugar on these?
Come
That's
back.
amazing.
And so he's like, yeah, Gary's like, and that's how I created the shading for your cheekbones. I just sprinkled a little bit of, it's a wonder what you can do with food coloring. I think it's a pretty good likeness, but you should eat. And his trunk like pushes the plate towards you, before they get cold.
Tak really thought this would be funny, but it's not.
They're like
Tax in
actually
hell.
bonding over like his food engineering skills.
I
and
hate
like Winter's appreciating.
Vinegar wants to hate them, but they are done very well.
Uh-huh.
And side note, I looked up blueberry pancakes while that scene was going on, and man, I want some blueberry. I don't think
Right.
I've ever had like
They're really good.
good blueberry pancakes. I think I always had like shitty ones or whatever. Anyways,
Yeah.
it changed me on it, and now I like these.
You're welcome.
So yeah, we're just in there, and I imagine like Vinegar's trying to pay attention to what's any noises
Like
coming out of
listening
that
for noise.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
so-
probably Gary notices and he leans forward and he's like, You seem distracted. Are you okay?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long day, and I got that present I'm working on for you, and
It's literally like 6:30 a.m.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess.
Oh, big
I've been
mood.
going.
What's that? Oh, it's 10:30. Oh, it's been a long day.
When it was just like, the quarantine's kind of getting to me now.
Yeah. It's like 11 a.m. time for a 3-hour depression nap.
Yeah. So you're saying this, and he nods and he says, I never thought to ask, but I see the four of you coming and going all the time, and I understand you sort of work here, but I don't really know what you do, but it definitely seems stressful. Everybody always seems like they're in a big hurry to go somewhere, coming and going, and there's all those meetings. I don't understand what you do, but it sure seems like it must put a lot of weight on your shoulders.
And Winnegar's just like, yeah, it is a lot of weight on our shoulders.
Oh my God.
Eats more of the pancake. Just like, it's like, you know the episode of The Office where Michael has to do one-on-one therapy with Toby, and he like hates Toby,
Yeah.
and then like Toby starts saying things, and Michael's
He
like,
just plays
yeah,
him,
you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I thought that this was going to be funny, but we're just talking about feelings.
No, we're not. We're just talking about me. Like,
Worse.
Yes, the
Like,
best conversation.
Yeah, Tack, are you trying to be in both places at once? Like, are you in the karaoke room peering out, hoping something horrible will happen, or are you hiding in the main room?
No,
or?
I'm in the main room
Okay.
because they told me to take the breakfast out, so
Sure.
I've been in the main room.
Yeah.
Because Tack has gotten so many failed insight checks regarding the
Mhm.
Demir nonsense that Tack is of the impression at this point now that Rode and Torgor are like dating, but trying to keep it on the DL.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's
Whoa.
what's going on in the karaoke room.
It fits perfectly because
Yeah.
when Chat was doing the Which Simpsons characters, everybody, they decided Torgor was Nelson and Rode was Lisa. And there's an episode where Nelson and Lisa are dating. It works out perfect.
gotta
Yeah,
nuke
like,
something.
Tack's just like it has come up so many times. Rode was mad that Torgor had a date and didn't want to do work. They hung out with what's his name, and stuff got really weird because like Rode was mad that Torgor was trying to set her up with Rourke, but then he went in there and now everybody's happy. She and Torgor both took Rourke home and then came back together. Like there's like a lot of things. Tack has been assuming that Rode and Torgor, because they always hang out together, are like secretly dating for a while.
Whoa.
And now it's just even more because like, you know how when you hang out with like couples that are dating and one of them tells a joke and the other one's like, nobody likes that joke, honey. That's what the Demir joke is
I
with
hate that energy. Ooh,
Torgor and
God.
Rode. Like Tack assumed that Torgor and Rode are dating, and it got in the way of a very funny prank, and now they're stuck out here having brunch with their dads.
God, that's
So-
such a rock solid theory, though.
Yeah,
that's a
Yeah,
lot
it
of
so
really
now
evidence.
they're
is,
drinking
yeah.
all the mimosas.
Mm-hmm.
All of them? No.
Oh,
Sorry, I just thought you had other priorities.
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah. So cut back to the room of the secret dates and the pillows that were actually Rose. So the Rose, she stands up from the couch. She's a little unsteady and maybe
What,
reaches out to
just
you
wanna
for.
Sit for 5 minutes
Is she-
before you get back to whatever we're doing. Just sit for 5 minutes. You were almost dead.
And she looks at you and she nods and says, that's probably a good idea. And so she sits back down and
Do you want real food? Do you need real food? We have pancakes. I don't know.
she looks at you and just like licks a spot of blood off the corner of her mouth and she says, I'll be all right. And she looks at you, Rode, and she says, thank you for that, by the way. And she puts her hand out like to take yours because you still have like a wound. You have a puncture mark on your wrist.
Yeah, I reach out. Oh my god, the one time my nails aren't done. It's fine.
Yeah. So she takes her wrist and she's got like cool sharp vampire nails. So she pricks her tongue with her nail, and a drop of her own blood wells up on the top of her tongue, and she licks your wrist. And when she does, the wound heals underneath, right? So yeah, so Torgor, you maybe uncomfortably watch this kind of erotic moment as she, and for the Rose, it's just business, right? She's just like, I can take care of this. And so she does it. But what is your reaction to this?
Am I a vampire now?
There's like maybe just like the tiniest little smug smile on Rhode's face. I think she's trying to not, but I think that there definitely is one.
Yeah.
I'm too gay, please.
That's me right now.
Please, I'm dead, please.
Yeah.
Spare me.
I think I like sit on the coffee table, so I'm like right across from her, like close by. And just sort of while she's doing this, like, is there anything else you need?
She shakes her head and says, we should talk. I know it's been a while. I haven't had the opportunity to give you new orders. I have some ideas of what you've been up to, but we're making inroads with the Gruul. That's what I was trying to do when all of this happened. What I started, I need you to finish. But I need everyone here to explain. So she looks at the door. And I think Torgor, she says, I need everyone here to explain. And she looks at you, and then she looks at the door like, go get them.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll be right back.
Okay, all right.
So it's like still like flabbergasted about one seeing the Rose again after assuming that she was just like that. We after not having received any orders from the conspiracy, just assuming like the Dimir found out, it's over. They've now co-opted it for their own thing, and so now that's what it is. And then to see her now, it's all just really thrown him for a loop.
Yeah.
And so he comes out and he goes, sees a champagne glass filled with mimosa that Tack's just about to down, grabs it out of Tack's hand, finishes it, and then, you drank the rest of them. Let me have this. Just, it's fine. Hey, Gary, we got to take care of some work stuff. I hate to do this, but yeah, we're gonna need you to go.
And he's like, but I gotta finish making the breakfast muffins for the morning crowd. Are we?
Oh yeah. Well, they'll get done. Don't worry about it. Winninger will do it.
Wait, what? What am I doing? What?
You'll do it. Come on. All right. And then I like even slightly like wanna. I just like I need to get him out. I don't want to intimidate him out of this place, but Torgor is fighting that like sort of mood right now because his.
You definitely could, and it's it's an interesting tension for Torgor because all you'd have to do is be like, "Get the fuck out, Gary," and he would, right? He'd leave.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And just I know. Frankly, it's just there's a lot of decisions that are being made with Dewdrop and the host, and we just needed. None of them are about you, but some of them will affect you, and we'd rather have a circle of trust on it, and then come to you with a clear answer about the direction of the host moving forward.
I like Torgor's
also gotten really good at middle management.
I was about to say, did you get an MBA at Rick's Mahdi University?
Just spinning around all like he's had to learn how to manage all those like
flannel wearing clowns,
literally edgelord chaos comedy writers, and has figured it out perfectly.
Make a deception check to see if you can successfully get rid of Gary, but not have Gary like hold a grudge.
For sure, absolutely. This has become the most important role of this campaign. It's a 12.
A 12. Okay.
It's a 12.
I'm gonna roll Gary's wisdom, which is a -1.
Yes.
Let's see how we do.
I gotta get a 13 or lower. 12.
All right, we got a 10. All right.
Yeah,
So-
thank goodness.
So Gary listens to you say this and he's like, wow, I only understood like half of that. And the half I understood sounded like a pretty big deal. I'm so sorry for taking up everybody's time. And he gets up and he pushes his chair back
God.
and he's like, well, I guess I'll just, I guess I'll just head home for the day. You sure you don't need any help with anything?
No, I mean, you could probably come back in a few hours. We'll reopen the shop then if you want to run the afternoon hours. Gary's got to make tips, you know, he's got to live
That's right,
too.
More like Gary's got to make pizza rolls. Like I'm supposed to open the oven by myself. It's huge.
It's very dangerous. That heavy lid could land on you.
At any moment,
At
at any time.
Would you let a 4-year-old
That's right.
work your oven? No, you wouldn't.
Would I let a 4-year-old have a melon baller to gouge out eyes? Probably not either.
Different
but,
4-year-old.
you know.
Okay.
Okay. So Gary gets up and he says to you, Winnegar, he's like, well, we'll just have to continue this conversation later. And he puts a reassuring hand on your shoulder because the last thing that you said was like, yeah, it is kind of a burden. He like pats your shoulder and he's like, well, everybody have a good day with your meetings and stuff. I'll see you later. And he grabs his bike helmet, and puts it on his head, and heads outside, putting on his raincoat. Actually,
Little does he know.
it probably takes Gary. Gary's definitely one of those like road bike commuter guys where it takes him forever to put on because it rains here all the time. So he puts on like the special pants. He has to put on his raincoat, his helmet, and he's got to put
we're just watching him.
the rain shield over his helmet. He's like,
Winnegar
just a
slowly
second, guys.
starts to remember why he hates Gary in this moment. He's like finishing the last of the pancake. He's just like, "Oh, later, Gary." And then like he's watching him get dressed, and he's just like,
Good feelings gone.
Yeah, right. And he's like, oh, I gotta check the PSI 1 second. Oh, this one's a little flat. And he like pumps
"Get
up.
out of here, Gary!"
Yeah.
He's like, okay, sorry. And he picks up his bike and he leaves.
Little does
I
he know
grab
that like
Winnegar.
Winnegar is the one who like poked a little hole. He puts like one tiny hole every time he comes by in the tire. He just like a small thumbtack, just like
Yeah.
every
So
time.
Gary finally leaves. But while all this is going on in the other room, Road, you are alone with the rose. So once Torgor leaves, she looks at you and she says, I'm going to say something to you that I don't say very often. I think I can count the number of times I've said it on one hand, but I think you've earned it. Thank you. I likely would have wasted away without you. It was dangerous. Foolish what you did. But you saved my life. Or rather, the semblance of it.
I mean, Winnegar did all the work, really. He picked you up. He put you on that couch.
She shakes her head and she says, Winnegar's a fool. You know that.
Well, I mean, we can agree on something.
Winnegar's a fool. Tack is a loose cannon. Torgor's a blockhead. But you have a future in Ravnica, Road. You have places that you could go. Don't forget that.
I mean, I guess you're not wrong, but what do you envision those places being?
She grins. One thing at a time. We're crafting a new world here. Once Jace Beleren is out of the way, then we can begin to build something new. And when we do, I'd like to have you there, on my side.
Consider it done.
And she smiles. Just the slightest hint. You just see like a little bit of fang. And she says, well, good. Now, let's get those other three morons in here, shall we? And she stands up.
Road's love language is calling those three morons. Like, Road is like, finally, someone says it.
I will accept it because she's like a Lucy Liu from freaking Charlie's Angels,
yeah.
professional power lesbian. So
yes,
To be fair,
massive
it's
power.
really us four idiots, but Rode is just a little bit smarter than the rest.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so I think she gets up and walks over to the door and opens it, and she says, "What's taking you three so long? Get in here." And when you look up from the table, I think that shot is the last one before the break. I think we go to break from there. So the Road, once we get back, the Rose will explain to all of you what she's been up to and how she ended up getting beat up and landed on your doorstep. And then we will decide what to do from there. So stick around, everybody. We'll be back with more Jace Beleren Must Die right after the break.
Da-da.
Thanks for the stinger, Carlos.